Alright guys, so some of you might have seen the post I posted on Sloppy about possibly running the LS style factory computer independently for like a trans controller. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get an RPM input or input from the MS2 that I'm running to the factory computer and make it work, or if I could zero out the wide open throttle shift tables in the LS1 factory PCM and just run off the shift mile an hour. Well, I did figure out how to get an RPM input into the LS1 computer. It's actually pretty easy. So as you can see, I've got my HP tuners and laptop set up here. It's actually connected and ready to go. And that'll log in. I'll stop that for a second. Okay, so I'll come over here, show you what I did. So if you look on the Sloppy page, on the Sloppy Wiki page, you will see how to bench wire one of these PCMs, and that's pretty much what I did. I've got access to all data, so I grabbed the wiring diagrams off all data and wired it. So you can see I've got my OBD2 connector right here, just wired right into the LS1 stock PCM. Power and ground through my jumper test lead setup. Pretty much jumpered it right to my alternator for now because it's easy with the hole cut in my hood. And then I took the crank signal wire, which is, I believe let me look here. So here's the wiring diagram for that. So the crankshaft position sensor, it is, this wiring diagram, I think it's for an 01, this computer's a 2000. This is dark blue and white, and it is on C1 number 12. Mine is just dark blue, but the pin count's correct. So it's pin 12 on C1. C1 is the blue connector on these LS1 PCMs, which is this top one right here. So I grabbed that one, which you can see right here is dark blue, kind of. My phone camera kind of sucks, but anyway. So I got that jumpered through my other test lead that was open, and I've got it running right to here with this wire. This is my other jumper wire from the MS2, and what I did is I went ahead, we'll get in here. So the way I've got my MS2 wired up, I have it actually wired up through a relay board. So what I ended up doing is I work for an independent dealer where we do a lot of aftermarket GPS tracking devices for pretty much low credit vehicles, or low credit families who are buying vehicles. Anyhow, I get a lot of these extra splicers in. The splice has a little rod that goes into the wire just to splice into it. That is my crank signal wire from the crankshaft position sensor that goes into my relay box, which goes to the MS2. So what I did is I just spliced into it, ran a tracer wire out just for testing purposes out to the computer. Now, let me get out of here. I was a little worried at first because of the fact of possibly shorting out the PCM or something of the sort, or the MS2. I didn't want to hurt the MS2. So I did some digging into it using the MS2 or the MS Extra hardware manuals and figured out how the crankshaft position sensor is wired up and how the crankshaft position sensor works. So as long as you're just using it for an RPM input into the LS1 computer, all you have to do is hook up that signal wire. You don't have to hook up the low reference or the ground wire. You don't have to hook up the 12 volt power from the LS1 computer. Just leave those unhooked. I'm actually going to depin this so it makes it a lot cleaner once I get done when I use this for a transmission controller. Anyway, so we got that green wire coming out that was tapped into my crankshaft position sensor signal going into the MS2, and it is running now also into this LS1 computer. I'm going to fire the car up and show you that it works. So, as I said, I've got my HP tuners interfaced into that OBD2 connector on that LS1 computer, and it is hooked up right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the battery's turned on. So hold on. Yep, it's on. Okay. So go back over here. get this recording. So it's already connected, so I'm going to start scanning. Okay, it's scanning. I'm going to start the engine up. You might not be able to hear me, but I'm going to put this close to the computer with the gauge just to show you I'm getting an RPM input. So let me start the sucker up. Okay, so it started. I'm going to record. Hold on. It just worked a minute ago. Give me a second here. I gotta reconnect. Probably because I shut the battery off. There we go. Okay. So if you can see, I'm getting an RPM input. I'm actually gonna bring it up to a gauge. So hold on. There's my tach. So I'm getting an RPM input, and just to prove it, I'll rev it a little bit here. Excuse that stupid line in the computer. My screen's junk on this laptop. But okay, so here we go. So I'm getting a tach input. I'm not getting a TPS input yet. I'm going to do the same thing with the TPS input. That should get me a TPS signal into the PCM. At which point I'll be able to use all the outputs for the transmission control and turn off all the check engine lights and stuff for the engine management, because I'm not going to be using that computer with the engine management. It's just going to run the transmission. I'm also going to set it up with the tow haul switch that you've heard in those trucks. I'm going to use that as the performance option. So that way I can hit a button in my dash and change how the transmission shifts. Make it either shift firmer or different shift points. I'm not totally sure yet, but I will start videoing my updates and recording the updates on Sloppy Mechanics just to keep you guys up to speed with what's going on here. But as you can see, if anyone has like a carbureted LS or something of the sort, they want to run, I'm running a 4L80E, but they want to run electrically shifted training from GM, 4L80E, 4L60E, whatever, they will be able to piggyback that crankshaft position sensor to give, and you'd have to piggyback the TPS sensor, which isn't going to be that hard at all. I'll make another video for that. But piggyback both of those, it'll give you the inputs you need into your LS1 computer, along with the transmission, like the input and output shaft speed sensors, and obviously wiring the tranny up to the computer. But once you do that, it will give you the ability to run the electric computer, the LS1 computer, as a standalone training controller. So I guess that is it, and I will get you more updates as I work on it. So